99.1 FM CKXS. Our Saturday morning continues, and guess who's back? Pete Allaer from Riversite Realty on the All About Real Estate show. How are you today there, Pete?
Good, Greg. How are you?
I had a pretty good New Year's.
Good, yes. Happy New Year to you.
It's quite interesting when you have a conversation with someone about New Year's, when you say, hey, so how was your New Year's? What did you do?
Yeah.
The answer's the same.
Yes.
For everyone.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing?
That's right. I think I made it till 11.
Did you?
I stayed up till 11, yes.
Oh.
Yes. So we made it to that point, 11 o'clock.
I barely made it to midnight. But then after I made it to midnight, it's like I got my second wind.
Oh, really?
And then we stayed up till like 3.
Oh, man.
I know.
Wow.
That's the latest I've stayed up in years. So,
well, Kim had to work the next morning. So
gotcha.
We were like everybody. It was quiet.
Yep.
But,
the quiet New Year's.
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's look back into 2020 now that we've got you here. When it comes to real estate, how do you assess 2020? How was that year for you and the team?
Well, it was sort of an interesting year the way it started because, as most people know, I took over Riversite February 1. So, we kind of just got going, and then March 15 rolls around and the world shuts down, right? So I have to say at that moment, it was a little nerve-wracking for me. I thought, oh man, what am I going to do, right?
Dick Primo's probably going, wow, did I read this market really well?
Did I time the market or what?
Because I can only imagine, taking over a new business, dealing with COVID-19, now what, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I when I recapped sort of, at Christmas time about, the 2020, the one thing that came in my mind, with especially for Riversite and really all of us is change, right?
Yeah.
The word change and what we all had gone through at Riversite and all the changes, and that, I guess, they always say, like if you're, we all have to change. We all have to adapt to change.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, it's like, it is what it is. So we sort of move forward with some new equipment to some 360 cameras and to go into the more virtual walkthroughs, that kind of thing. That really worked out well. We had some staffing changes. We had a couple of ladies that had retired, when sort of they were going to work till March, but then COVID hit, so they retired. We took on Rianne, who is our marketing media specialist, and she's awesome. And I mean, to take her on with this happening couldn't have happened at a better time for us, right? Because she just
figured out how to do the marketing and get that message out there through a different medium, or you're using radio now. You're like me, and you came on radio.
Well, actually,
COVID.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Right after. I mean, I think our first radio show we did was literally probably the third week of March, or maybe first of April. I would say
beginning of April we started the real estate show. So, you found another avenue to kind of get the message out there.
Yeah, and what really happened in real estate in 2020 was the first sort of, we'll say from March, April, even let's call it till around the middle of May, it was quiet, very quiet. Right. But then all of a sudden, like any of the business we would have done in those 2 or 3 months, I mean, once, say, June 1st hit, we did all of it, including what we would normally do June, July, August. It all happened in the next 3
Nobody
months.
Slept, but you got her all done.
It was, it was what's the word that everyone was using, like the pent up
demand
and buyer's demand. So in the end, if we look at our numbers, if we look at our 2019 numbers and we look at our 2020 numbers, overall we were slightly down in 2020, but very slightly. Like it really was not much considering what it could have maybe done, right? So
missing out on basically 2 months really of selling.
Oh, at least, right? Yeah. And we talked about this on this show before, like all the reasons why we think this is happening, and we've covered all that. But all in all, it was a good year. We managed to get through it. We managed to adapt to the changes. We managed to, I think, really become a better group through it, because we learned a lot, I know in 2019, I'd say maybe 20% of my transactions were electronic signatures and those kind of things, e-transfers, all that. Today, it's probably the opposite, 80-20.
Wow.
80% is electronic signatures, e-transfers, virtual tours. I mean, everyone has just kind of catapulted into the into the new century, so to speak, right? Even people
funny.
Our age.
Yeah. When I look back in 2019, I used the word evolve and the word pivot 3 times the entire year in 2019. In 2020, I used those words 3,475 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Evolve.
Yeah.
It was just like that's the word of the year.
What we did
Is that you had to kind of figure out the different way to make your business work.
Yeah.
And the people that did that are okay. I don't know if I want to use the word successful. They're holding on.
Yeah, they're holding on.
Some people were successful, but it's
well, in some businesses it's easier. Like in a way, we were kind of lucky because we already were lots of online stuff.
Right,
Like we were already kind of let's say if this was a 100-yard race, I mean we were already at the 50-yard line, right? So it wasn't quite so bad, and we're able to do lots of things. Call it virtually or electronically or on the web and all that already. So that helped. But I mean, certain businesses, I hands down to them for how they're adapting, right? Like
restaurants, clothing stores. I think of places like Steckelboss. There's a place that that's not essential, and so then they get hammered. And those ones that aren't deemed essential and that they have to close, and then you see a big box store across the street that's open. I mean, that's a big can of worms we're getting into there, but it's very frustrating.
So now we're in 2021.
Yep. So now what? So how's it working now with this current lockdown? What can I do with my real estate agent still? How does that work?
So what we've decided to do, I mean, this is we've learned from our first go around. So we're sort of doing the same thing. I mean, our office itself is closed to just random walk-ins. It's closed. However, by appointment only, no problem. Every one of our realtors are available by cell phone and email. So, we're still out there. We're still available. We're still listing and selling houses. It's not an issue. I mean, we can get together with you however you want to do it, whether it be through just a straight telephone call or a FaceTime, or if you want to meet in person, we have everything in place. We still have lots of demand. I mean, we get a listing. We just had a listing. We listed last week on Montgomery, and listed it. Had I think probably 15 to 20 showings, 7 or 8 offers, property sold. So
in January. That's pretty aggressive.
So really, to say, oh well, should you list right now? Will we get the demand? I mean, I was kind of watching that property to see what was going to happen, and it really was, no different than last.
You wouldn't notice anything different.
No. So I think that the answer to the question of if I'm thinking of selling today, number one, can I do that? Can I list and sell my house? Absolutely. Number two, is it a good or a bad time? I mean, honestly, I have to say it's just as good a time as any, because there's so little for sale. Right.
The market is still hot.
And the market's hot. There's still demand. What I do, is I have the conversation about, okay, let's do a 360 on your house.
Right.
Let's take lots of pictures. Let's do lots of descriptive stuff in our advertising. And then I even got out to other realtors saying, and we're all doing this. So if I have a buyer, we kind of screen our buyers
Yep.
ahead of time. Like
Yep.
we're not going to take a buyer and bring him in a home if we haven't already kind of screened them on number one, health, COVID health
Sure.
issues.
Yep, smart.
Number two, the seriousness of where they are in the buying process. If you're just kind of kicking tires, well, you know what? Look at the 360. And,
Right.
So we kind of try to qualify buyers a little more seriously now. We also, like I said earlier, back the last lockdown, only the decision makers go in when they're buying something.
Right.
They get in, have a look.
You don't bring the kids. You don't bring your grandma and grandpa to come look at the house. And,
that's right.
which
Don't do those
normally
things.
you're fine with, but this is different times.
Yeah, just don't do those kind of things. I mean, if it's you and your wife buying a house, you and your wife go in, go in, look, we have hand sanitizer at the front door. We wear masks. We keep track of who's going in and out. We also do the whole ask the questions of, have you been in contact, those kind of things. And it kind of, it's a collaboration between the buyers, the agents, and the sellers on, we all work together to make it happen, right?
Right.
So we still can do that. Still, like I say, lots of demand. Every listing we're getting lots and lots of calls and demand and requests for showings and stuff. So it's still out there. So if you're thinking about wanting to make a move, I would say, now is just as good a time as any.
Good. All right. He's Pete Allaer. He's from Riversite Realty. It's the All About Real Estate show. We'll take a break in the action. There are some listings. You got a few that we want to run through. We'll get to those in a second.
Sure.
All right. That's coming up right after this song here on 99.1 FM CKXS. 99.1 CKXS, and we've got Pete Allaer hanging around for us with just a little bit longer time in hand here. So let's talk about maybe some of the listings that you've got. Got a few new ones?
Yeah, I have.
Share?
We got a couple of ones that we sort of we got right kind of through the Christmas break there. One of them is in Sarnia, actually, and it's 2115 London Line, just outside of Sarnia.
Okay.
It's kind of a country atmosphere. It's a 4-acre parcel. It's got a house, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with lots of private area and out back. It's a really nice little spot there.
Unique, 4 acres.
Yeah, 4 acres, yeah. So if you're looking for country and something, between Walsburg and Sarnia, it's just outside of Sarnia, so it's a nice spot.
And don't mind cutting grass.
Yeah, it's got kind of some areas that have, we'll call it, forest-like. It's got some treed areas, and then it's got some open areas. It's kind of a neat parcel. So that's always a good option for someone who's looking for that type of thing.
You can see that property on your website.
Yes, on our website, riversite.com, along with all the rest of them we have. And then the other one that I just listed, which is I think it's a great, a great buy. It's one of the semis over on Broomsma. So it's one of the larger semis, I was amazed at the size of it when I went inside. Like, it's a raised ranch type semi.
Yeah.
3 bedrooms call it upstairs, main floor, 3 bedrooms, full bathroom, kitchen, dining area, living room, nice and all good size. And then you go down into call it basement, because of course a raised ranch, you don't really feel like you're in a basement.
Yeah.
It had 2 more rooms that could either be a 4th and 5th bedroom or a 4th bedroom and an office, a big laundry room, another full bath, and then and a rec room. So those they're very, very. I said, a lot of square footage for the money. I mean, this one's listed at $199.9, and
it's on Montgomery,
on Broomsma.
Broomsma, sorry,
and it is. Like I say, it's a semi, but it's got a walkout from the back to the backyard from the basement. Very well looked after, well maintained. It'd be a great. I mean, if you need space, affordable space, like it's there. It's kind of. I was in one a few years ago and I forgot how much space you get in those in that style. So that one's at 83 Broomsma, and it was just listed couple of days ago, so it's available to be shown. So and then go on to our website, riversite.com. Give us a call if you like at the office. If you want to set an appointment up, call any one of our realtors direct. You go on our website, riversite.com, and you'll see all their contact information, and we're happy to like I say, meet however you want to meet. If you need to come into the office for something, we can make arrangements for that as an appointment or on the phone or however, So we're here to list houses, to sell houses, and let's hope that we can all get back to some sort of a normal here in the next near future.
You got it. I guess step one is, if you're interested in selling or buying, start with a phone call, probably. That's the best way to do it.
And give a call to one of our team members. Even call our office, leave a message. I'm in there every day checking messages, or calling in, getting messages, or reach out, to your favorite realtor that we have at Riversite, and they'll be happy to discuss it with you, all the options.
Good. All right. Well, welcome back, and welcome to 2021. Looking forward to selling some houses this year, Pete.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. That's Pete Allaer today from Riversite Realty. That's the All About Real Estate show for this week on 99.1 FM.